Hey guys, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about breaker blocks. This is a trade that I took today actually, but let's hop over to this other chart. Alright, so I'm going to explain to you guys what breaker blocks are. I don't use breaker blocks that much. I don't put it into my trading strategy as much. I put more my fair value gaps and inverse fair value gaps. And sometimes, occasionally, I'll use order blocks, but you can also use breaker blocks as well. So a breaker block basically just, let me get rid of all of this. All right. So what a breaker block really is, let me show you guys. So say we have an uptrend. All right. So say we have an uptrend. Every single let me draw these out real quick. And then I'll show you guys on the chart as well. Alright, so these right here are all breaker blocks, and what that basically is just the retracement move. So this up move right here would be the order block. Let me mark that out. So this up move right here would be the order block, and then this move down before it would be the breaker block. So price would be, this is how initially it would work. Price would go into it and then back out, and that's how you would enter that trade. So that's how you can use breaker blocks in your trading. And I'll go over the chart a little bit and show you guys. So let's go on the chart and look for some of these. We can look for today's. I didn't use that today, so I doubt that it would be on there, but you can try to find one. So, alright, so I kind of see, let's see. So we have a sweep right there. We're not going to use a fair value gap. We're going to use this down move. So, and if you guys can't really see it, you can also go to the line graph and mark these out as well. So we got an up, down move right here. So as you can see right here, we have up, down, right there. So where is it? All right, hold on. So up, down, up, and then the break structure. So where would it be? It would be right here from the high to that low right there. That's where it would be, and let's draw it out to there. Okay. Alright, perfect. So it did go up in this line chart, but I know in the candles it does look a lot different. So that right there is the breaker block. As you can see, well, actually we can draw it to the wick. Because on this chart we do use the wicks, on the other one we don't. So you can draw that to the wick. Okay. So that's the breaker block right there. It goes up, and then we have that down move right there. You can also draw it to that. So we have that down move, and then up. That's the order block right there. So this right here would be the order block. We're not doing the order block today. we're doing the breaker block. So that's the breaker block right there. And a lot of people draw it differently. You can always draw it from that high of the previous candle to the low, or you can draw it from the low to the high of that candle, or you can also draw it however you want. So, but just make sure you get this bottom wick included, and if it's the other way around, then you get the bottom wick included. So whether you choose to do it from the high to that from that candle or the high of this candle is your choice. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is you get this wick because that's where price goes into it. So that's one example. Let's look for some other examples on the chart. Let's go to yesterday. Yesterday was actually a holiday, so we're gonna go to Friday. That's Monday. Sunday. We're getting close. Alright, here we are. So this is 3 in the morning. Alright, right here we can look for something. So, alright, here we have a good example. So we can use it either. Yeah, I'll use this example. So right here, we have all these lows get swept right there, and then mark out. It's actually a pretty good example. So we have up, and then it comes down. So we have the high to the low. Let's let this load. Basically, that high right there to that low. I'll show you guys right now, since this wants to reload all the time. Alright, so we have the high to that low. So that's the breaker block right there. We have up, down, and I mean, you can also use that little black candle right there, but I wouldn't use that just because this is the move right here that happened. You can go on to the line chart and see this. So as you can see, it goes up, down, and then up. That's just irrelevant, but you can also mark it out like that. Just remember that when you go back onto the wicks and the candles, you mark it down to the bottom wick. Yeah, so that price goes up into it, and then price ended up going into it into this inverse fair value gap. So that's what I would have used for this trading for this trade. So I would have used that inverse fair value gap right there. But yeah, breaker blocks, you can use them for your trades. It just is like a third confluence if there's no fair value gaps or inverse fair value gaps, or yeah, you can always use breaker blocks. It would be the same as using order blocks. It's not exactly the same, but it's around the same. But yeah, because it's basically just resting orders to get filled. That's what it basically is. So yeah, it's kind of like, but fair value gap is like one of the stronger confluences, especially a inverse fair value gap or even a BPR, which is basically like two fair value gaps overlapping. So a regular inverse fair value gap would be like this right here, where price goes into it and then back out. But a BPR would be like the overlapping of the two, like that. I forgot to show you guys that in another video, but yeah, basically it's a stronger inverse fair value gap where two of them overlap like that. I'll give you another example since I didn't show you guys that. Yeah, so right here we have another BPR right here, and you can also mark that up there. You can use that. The price goes into it and then back up to these highs. So yeah, that's basically what a BPR is. But back to breaker blocks. Let's find a few more examples. Alright, so right here we have another example. So I got swept right there. And instead of using the inverse fair value gap or the fair value gap right here, we can mark out this top to the bottom right there, up, down, right there. Price came into it and then back down all the way to these lows right here, as you can see. So price came down to these lows. Let's see whether if we can find one more. That's kind of right there, but market's not too, because that's pre-market, so we don't really look at that. Let's go into Wednesday a little bit and see if we can find another example. Alright, so we're on Wednesday right now. Let's see if we have a good example right here. Kind of, but I would like to see a better example, to be honest. Let's see if we can find something better. Because right here, as you can see, we had price sweep these highs right here. And then we had this down move right here. Yeah. Which is basically the breaker block right there that you could have entered off of. But I just want to find a better example because this was more like a fair value gap entry right there. As you can see, went to the midpoint right there. So yeah, that was more like a fair value gap entry. But let's find some one more breaker block for an example. So alright, I guess we can use this as an example. So alright, so we have this high that got swept, okay, and then we'll mark out this down candle right here. It's not perfect, but sometimes the market isn't perfect, so mark out like that. Okay, price came into it, back down. We also have that inverse fair value gap right here. But this is more of a BPR, to be honest, because they overlap. So we have the BPR, and then we also have the breaker block right here. So yeah, that's just one last example. You guys can go on the chart and mark those out yourself. So yeah, just remember that what a BPR basically is when you have an uptrend, it's basically the move down before the move up. So right before the order block, you have the breaker block. Same thing with these. Okay. Same thing with the downtrend. Same thing with the downtrend right here. Alright, and then price would just come back into here and back out. Same thing with this one. Price will just go into there and then back out. So that's just how that works. So yeah, that's the video for today about breaker blocks. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe.